The kitten was small, a fluff of grey fur under the pale light of the moon. I found him huddled by the trash cans, eyes wide and luminous. He was light as a feather when I picked him up, his tiny heart thudding against my palm. He was perfect. I named him Shadow, for he followed me like one. He was a playful thing, chasing dust motes and batting at my fingers with sheathed claws. At night he curled up at my feet, a purring ball of warmth. He quickly became a fixture in my life, a source of comfort and companionship. Life with Shadow was peaceful, predictable. He was a constant presence, a comforting weight on my lap as I read, a soft, furry shadow always at my heels. I told myself I had rescued him, but in truth he had rescued me, filling the silence of my life with his soft purrs and playful antics. The first sign was subtle. His eyes, once pools of innocent blue, took on a greenish tinge. They seemed to glow in the dark, watching me with an unnerving intensity. I dismissed it as a trick of the light. Then came the dreams. Vivid, disturbing dreams of being hunted, of something sleek and silent stalking me through the shadows. I would wake with a gasp, heart pounding, the feeling of dread clinging to me like cobwebs. His purr, once a soothing rumble, deepened, becoming a low growl. He grew increasingly agitated at night, pacing restlessly, his once playful swats turning into bites that drew blood. I told myself it was just a phase, that he was growing out of his kittenhood. But deep down, a seed of unease had been planted. The air grew heavy, thick with a palpable tension. Shadow, once a source of comfort, now filled me with a creeping sense of dread. His playful antics ceased, replaced by an unnerving stillness. He would sit for hours, staring at me with those unsettling green eyes, his body taut like a coiled spring. My dreams intensified, becoming more vivid, more terrifying. I was no longer the hunted, but the prey, trapped in a nightmare where Shadow was the predator, his eyes burning with a cold, malevolent light. The air crackled with an unseen energy. The shadows in my home seemed to deepen, to writhe with a life of their own. I felt a constant prickling sensation on the back of my neck, as if I was being watched, stalked by something unseen. My once safe haven had become a prison of fear. The night of the transformation. The storm raged outside, mirroring the turmoil within me. The power flickered, plunging the house into darkness. I stumbled through the shadows, my heart pounding in my chest. And then I saw him. He was no longer the playful kitten I'd taken in. He was larger, his fur sleek and black, his eyes glowing like emerald fire. His teeth, once tiny points, were now elongated fangs dripping with a viscous fluid. He snarled, a guttural sound that sent shivers down my spine. Terror, raw and primal, surged through me. I backed away, tripping over my own feet. He stalked towards me, each step deliberate, predatory. The air crackled with an unseen energy, and I knew with chilling certainty that this was no ordinary cat. This was something else, something monstrous. Aftermath. The details of that night remain a blur, a chaotic jumble of terror and adrenaline. I remember the searing pain, the metallic scent of blood, the feeling of utter helplessness. And then, just as suddenly as it began, it was over. When I awoke, the storm had passed, leaving behind an eerie silence. The house was empty, the air thick with the lingering scent of musk and decay. Of Shadow there was no sign. The physical wounds healed, but the emotional scars remained, a constant reminder of that night. The fear, once a fleeting shadow, had taken root, burrowing deep into my psyche. My home, once a sanctuary, was now a constant source of anxiety, every creak and groan a chilling echo of that nightmarish encounter. Whispers in the dark. Years have passed, but the memory of that night remains, a vivid stain on the tapestry of my life. I have moved on, rebuilt my life, yet the fear lingers, a persistent whisper in the dark. Sometimes in the dead of night, when the wind howls and the shadows dance, I imagine I see him lurking in the periphery of my vision. His glowing green eyes bore into me, filled with a cold, knowing malice. I know with bone-deep certainty that he is out there somewhere, waiting for the opportune moment to return, and when he does, I will be ready. For I have looked into the abyss, and the abyss has looked back, and it knows my name.